Everyone is afraid of the winter. Is there someone hiding inside of that snowman? What if someone hides a razor blade inside of a snowball and throws it at me? Were these hoof prints left in my yard by a deer or a demon? Is there really such a thing as black ice? Or are maniacs spreading butter across the street to harm us? Sorry. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein. In the subject of tonight's episode, Mr. Greenway. Like many criminals before and after him, he used white powder in order to help him obtain diamonds. But unlike most criminals, Mr. Greenway forces us to confront a deeply uncomfortable question about the world that we live in. When the winter is over, where does the snow go when it melts away? Does it die? And if snow can die, can it become a snow ghost? Tonight's terror takes place at the Wolf's End Lodge, a ski resort just off the Canadian-US border, run by the seemingly normal Mr. Greenway. But behind the welcoming facade lurks a shadow, a specter of creepiness, a man by the name of Mr. Leach. If Mr. Greenway had never met Mr. Leach, would he have been content to run an honest business? Or was it Mr. Greenway who seduced Mr. Leach into a life of crime? Or perhaps it's simply a case of two rotten apples that rolled down the same hill. Just as there are no victimless crimes, Mr. Leach wasn't the only one snowed into this story, as some participants in this theater of injustice were less complicit in their rotten schemes. Fulon Chi's experience of being pursued by a Yeti in Asia was enough to scar anyone for a lifetime. But even though he watched it fall to its death, the Yeti seemed to follow him all the way back to the peaceful cave in which he stayed in America. To Fulon Chi, this was a real-life snow ghost, the personification of his trauma. But to those of us in the Scrappy Squad who know better, this was only the ghost of one man's greed, because this bone-chilling story acted as Mr. Greenway's muse. He could bring this terror to the West in order to keep people out of his ski resort. What would compel a man to do something so clearly bad for his own business, you might be asking yourselves. The one thing no man can resist: jewels. With Mr. Leach acting as his jewel dealer, the two would smuggle jewels across the stream downstream from the old sawmill, using hollowed out logs. In order to sell the idea of a floating snow ghost, Mr. Greenway painted skis so that they would be see-through. With all of this and a creepy costume on top, it was the perfect plan. But even the perfect plan has an expiration date. That date was the day Mystery Incorporated, a gang of 4 teenage sleuths and their Great Dane, entered the Wolf's End Lodge. They came with the same intent as all the others, to have an enjoyable time skiing. But unbeknownst to them, they signed up for much more excitement than that. Despite the rundown appearance of the lodge, they were greeted by Mr. Greenway with the hospitality one would expect from such an establishment. But even his warm welcome did come across somewhat chilling. It wasn't long before Mr. Leach entered the scene, discreetly sliding a suitcase across the desk to Mr. Greenway, asking that it be kept in a safe place. When asked about the nature of their relationship, Mr. Greenway brushes it off as Mr. Leach being another guest. He quickly leads the gang to the room with a warning: lock your doors, lest the snow ghost get you and turn you into a ghost. While locking the windows, Shaggy spots the snow ghost right outside their room. Mystery Inc. collects themselves and dashes to the safest place they know: outside, where the snow ghost is. Circling the lodge, they find their first bit of evidence: snow ghost tracks leading to the same window in which the spectral Yeti was spotted. Freddy thinks fast, telling the gang to get on snowmobiles to find out the origin of these footprints. only to find that the tracks end at a cliff. Not only do they discover this, but also that the snow ghost can fly, as it appears on the cliff's edge opposite of them, traveling airborne across the divide and disappearing behind trees far behind the gang. Spotting a nearby well-lit cave, they task Scooby with investigating, operating under the logic that with him being a dog, he could get there the fastest. Either in an act of tunnel vision or cruelty, what Freddy forgot to account for was a leg injury Scooby brought attention to at this moment. But that couldn't fool Freddy, who quickly recognized the act as a charade. Exploring the cave, they summon its owner in an act some critics of Mystery Inc. find to be an act of profiling. Detective Velma rang a gong to alert its owner, none other than Fu Lan Chi, of his company. Fu Lan Chi tells the gang of his previous Yeti encounter, as well as his belief that the snow ghost is none other than the Yeti who fell to its death pursuing him all those years before. The gang is also introduced to the Timberwolf, whose bone Scooby invited himself to chew on. Freddy isn't convinced that the snow ghost's intent is mere revenge, and they continue their investigation. They are led by sawdust-speckled snow ghost tracks to a nearby abandoned sawmill. Although Shaggy says he is happy to leave it deserted, Freddy insists that they search the place. It isn't long before they are the ones being tracked. While Scooby distracts himself by making funny faces into a mirror, Shaggy and Velma are snatched away. He finds Velma strapped by chain link to a log, and after shaking off the snow ghost from the other end of a saw he intended to use on the chains, he manages to rescue Velma by chewing through the log like a beaver. They slide out of the mill on the log and reunite to the rest of the gang, with Shaggy nowhere to be seen. He isn't missed for long, as a ghostly apparition in his shape quickly appears. Fortunately, the phantasm gets its foot stuck in a bucket, causing him to trip into a pool of water, revealing itself to be none other than Shaggy, alive and in the flesh. The snow ghost doesn't let them enjoy the reunion for long, quick to continue its pursuit. Hiding in a pile of logs, Daphne finds a hollowed out log to conceal herself within, as well as a diamond stashed away inside of it. While they are connecting the pieces to this puzzle, Scooby and Shaggy are still being pursued by the snow ghost. They escape across a lake, but sinking into the thin ice, are frozen in the process. While chiseling their friends out of the ice, a light bulb goes off in Freddy's head. They could freeze the snow ghost by dumping water on its head. Unfortunately, by the time Scooby goes to throw water onto it, the water is already frozen. The snow ghost attempts to throw Scooby from the ledge, but their hands are frozen together in the process. Shaggy saves his friend and the day by catapulting a giant snowball at the snow ghost. They roll downhill, and Mr. Greenway is unmasked. This reveal was almost unnecessary to the gang, who of course had already figured it out. While detailing their case to local authorities, Scooby demonstrates how the transparent skis are used, leading him straight into a tree and angering a squirrel residing within it. But don't worry, Scooby made it out okay. It went on to solve many, many more cases. That's all for now, Scrappy Squad. Please make sure to like and subscribe.